Today's the day when I think even the most ardent supporter of Liverpool owners, FSG, will be tested to the maximum when potential defeat away to Newcastle United, who've been investing no end of money, along with Man City, along with Arsenal, along with Chelsea, defeat Liverpool today. This is going to test the supporters and fan base with the window still open.
Header. But oh, you beauty! What a head, son! What a head!
Welcome back to Onto the Ball. I'm Scott, and I'm normally joined by Travis, but today I'm just doing a quick short video on Newcastle versus Liverpool. Third game of the season, and we've already been away to Chelsea. We've been smited by the fixture gods. 2 tough away games in the first 3 games. I've said on Twitter the last couple of weeks that I predict we'll get 4 points from these 9. We've already got the 4. That means that my prediction means we'll get beat today by Newcastle. Who would be surprised at the lack of investment by FSG over the summer if we went into today's game as the underdog? How times have changed in the Premier League. Liverpool have very rarely been an underdog against Newcastle, and here we are. Injury nightmare already in the third game of the season. KONATE is rumoured to be struggling and not making the matchday squad today. That means it's either going to be Joe Gomez or Joel Matip, and we know how that's gone after the last 12 months. A lot of people are saying that Joel Matip is finished at the top flight. I am Joel Matip's biggest fan. I've always said that. I don't think he's finished. I just don't think he's match fit. He doesn't play enough to keep match fit. When he comes in, he does all right. I know he had a nightmare in the last game of the season against Southampton, and everyone's like, yeah, that's it, Joel Matip's finished. But if he has a run of 5 games, I'm confident that him and Virgil van Dijk can still do well in the centre of defence. He particularly done well against West Ham. He even scored, and that was him just coming in from the cold. I'm sure he got man of the match that day, but KONATE being out injured is an absolute nightmare. Obviously, everyone knows that he covers that right-hand side of the defence, which allows Trent to invert into the centre of the park with the 6-6 pivot with McAllister. But today, away to Newcastle, I can't see that being a viable option with either Gomez or Matip at the centre of defence. So I think Trent is going to be deployed as a conventional right-back and be more concentrating on his defensive duties. So what does that leave in the middle of the park? ENDO. He's going to come in as the CDM. He's going to make his full debut for Liverpool. The guy's 30 years old. He's match fit, started the season in the German league. It makes no sense for us to not start him today. We cannot continue with McAllister in the number 6. We're holding him back with his natural attributes. His skill set is not designed to be a CDM number 6. We need to release him forward. So that will leave ENDO in the CDM to make his full debut, and this will be a baptism of fire for him. I can't think of many crowds that will be up for it more today than the Newcastle crowd. They're going to be baying for blood today, and this is going to be a real test for ENDO today to see if he can match the physical and pace of the Premier League. This is going to be a hell of a test for him. Szoboszlai will obviously be in the midfield with McAllister, who had his red card rightfully overturned against Bournemouth. That was an absolute disaster, especially for VAR. What are VAR doing? In this day and age with VAR, you cannot have a red card rescinded on appeal a few days later. That is what VAR is for. It's VAR, and the referees have started the season absolutely horrendously, and it just keeps getting worse every day. There was more contentious calls yesterday with obviously Rashford's penalty claims, some saying he dived. You can see an angle where there is a tiny little bit of contact, but people are rightfully going in on VAR. Obviously Man United with that Wolves penalty. Liverpool should have had a penalty against Chelsea with that handball that stopped the ball going in the net, but obviously VAR said it's not a penalty. It's just descended into chaos from a VAR point of view. But back to today's game, McAllister rightfully will be eligible to play. Szoboszlai will hopefully follow up his man of the match performance against Bournemouth with another performance today, which today will obviously be a lot harder than Bournemouth at home. And then it leaves the big question, obviously, in the front 3. If ENDO starts in the 6, that'll release McAllister into an 8 role. that will hopefully release Cody Gakpo in his more natural front position. So what does that mean for the front three or the front four? Gakpo's going to play. He's a Klopp favourite. He's a fan favourite. That means that Jota is going to be dropping to the bench. Luis Diaz is a fixture on the left. Mo Salah is a fixture on the right. Them two positions do not and will not change. The only thing that will change them positions now is this rumour that Saudi Arabia are planning and plotting a bid for Mo Salah. Skeptics are saying it's because we're playing Newcastle, who are Saudi owned. They're trying to unsettle the camp before this big game. I'm not so sure. I've said on Twitter the last couple of days, Salah's 31 now. We missed the boat getting a bigger fee for Sadio Mane. We missed the boat getting a big fee for Bobby Firmino, who left for free. If we're talking upwards of close to 150 million when he's 32 on his next birthday, you'd have to say the club has to look at it. The only problem here is it's way too late in the window. We've already missed out on Bellingham. We've already missed out on Caicedo. If we did get 150 million in this late in the window and we try to replace players, we'll be held to ransom. We could end up overpaying for someone with half of Salah's capabilities, and it would be an absolute disaster. So the only reason that I'm saying it cannot be looked at and shouldn't be looked at is because of how late it is in the window. FSG and George Schmadtke have absolutely bollocksed this window up. There's no other way of saying it. This big summer rebuild, it just did not materialise. We've signed Endo, McAllister and Szoboszlai to replace Fabinho, Henderson, Milner, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Naby Keita and the outgoing Arthur Melo. Doomed. He played 13 minutes. So 6 players out, 3 in, and we already needed more last season. So like I say, I think today could be a watershed moment within the fan base. If we don't escape St James's Park with 3 points today, Twitter, the online, the fan base, hopefully they're going to riot. They're going to go into absolute meltdown. I'm not saying I want us to lose. I want us to win 100%. But if we lose, I'm just curious to see what the reaction is, not just from the fan base but also from FSG, the owners. Will they panic buy? Will they enter the market and pay an inflated fee for someone like Cheikh Doucouré from Crystal Palace or Andre from Fluminense out in Brazil? Will they activate his release clause? Who knows what's going to happen? All I do know is I don't want to see another deadline day panic buy signing of someone on loan like Arthur Melo. We're better than that. We're bigger than that. That will just be an insult to the fan base. But back to the game. Newcastle are going to be right up for it. They smashed Villa in their first game. They done well against Man City, holding them to 1-0 and had plenty of chances in the game themselves. But today is going to be an absolute test for Liverpool. And I can't say I'm looking forward to it. I just wish, like I said, we didn't have 2 away games in the first 3 games. It's cruel. It's horrendous. But my prediction is I think we're going to get beat. That's not me being down. Obviously, I backed Liverpool to the hilt, but I think we're going to get beat probably 3-2. I think Newcastle are going to come at us fast in the opening exchanges. First half, maybe go into a 1 or 2-0 lead. We'll get it back to 2-1. Then I predict it will go 3-1 and we'll score 1 in the last 10 minutes to make it a grandstand finish, and we'll ultimately end up losing 3-2. That's my prediction. Let me know your prediction in the comments. Let me know if you think I'm crazy or being too harsh on FSG, Jurgen Klopp, George Schmadtke. And also let me know your predictions for the game. If you've liked what you heard, don't forget to smash the like. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out a lot. And me and Travis will see you in the next video. You'll never walk alone, and FSG out.
Header. But Gerrard! Oh, you beauty! What a head, son! What